All right, welcome back to the channel. So, wow, this is an absolutely huge one. Tyson Fury is rumored to be under federal investigation for violations or association with violations of the Rico Act for things connected to Deontay Wilder and ties to organized crime. Absolutely amazing. Hope that this is not true, but let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back, welcome back. You know what they say, man, when you play with the big dogs, you might just get bit. So, it appears that Tyson Fury had a few more problems, or has a few more problems than what he is going to be doing in the Deontay Wilder rematch, because according to my sources, he is under investigation for violations of the Rico Act by the U.S. federal government. Now, what the Rico Act is in general, I'm not an expert on the Rico Act. It is just in general, it is basically an attempt to monitor organized crime. And specifically what it does is it allows a prosecutor to charge people for orders that they gave. So if somebody is a big time boss and he orders something to happen, under Rico, even though they didn't commit the crime themselves, Rico can attach the person that is the boss. Now, that is my understanding of how it works. And like I said, I'm not an expert on Rico, so you guys should go look at that. But from what my connection tells me, that the investigation started when Tyson Fury, or prior to that, but from what he said is, Tyson Fury is just kind of stupid, because when you start throwing around the name of people that are, international crime bosses or have a reputation for that, people start looking. So my understanding is that his connection to Daniel Kinahan piqued the interest of federal investigators, because around the time that Tyson Fury, I think it was Tyson Fury 1 and Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 1, he said, or Deontay Wilder 2, but regardless, around that time there was an influx in the United States of fully automatic Kalashnikov fully automatic rifles. They are called AK-47s. So there was an influx of fully automatic AK-47s that came into the United States, and authorities caught one, and they were looking to find out where the rifles came from, who were the people connected to them, right? So for some reason, and I can't, obviously, they're not sharing a lot of information with me, there was a connection between what they thought was Daniel Kinahan boxing matches and the sale of fully automatic Russian Kalashnikovs. And Kalashnikovs are not allowed. They are allowed into the United States, I believe, in a semi-automatic form, but you cannot have one that is just fully automatic. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but from what I understand, it means it can just continue to light off bullets until it runs out, versus being able to do like 32 or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's obviously a big thing to the federal government, because they do not want fully automated AK-47s floating around the streets. So that's where the investigation was, around the import and the sale of those weapons. Also, my understanding is that they believe that there were very unusual gambling patterns around Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 1, and that there were unusual gambling patterns around Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder number 2, and that they coordinated that those funny gambling patterns, they believe, is somehow connected to the import of those Kalashnikovs. So they are currently in the process of doing investigations. So these are federal investigations. My understanding is that people are not considering Tyson Fury himself to be a big fish in the scenario, but he is somebody that they are looking for to participate or cooperate with the federal authorities, because he's under investigation for his involvement in it, and their understanding that he was involved. And this is just what I'm saying, because they wouldn't tell me everything. and I didn't ask everything. I just know from, the videos that I did, the things and the conversations that were going around, that there was a lot of conversation about his relationship with a guy named Daniel Kinahan who's, I believe he's currently in Saudi Arabia and is the biggest arms dealer in Europe. So Tyson Fury is, on the internet while he's actually in the United States talking about his love and affection for the biggest arms dealer in the world, or excuse me, in Europe, my understanding is. And then after that, you wind up having a bunch of, or before that, they go back and they say, oh, wow, when we caught these Kalashnikovs coming in the country, it was not too long after this fight. And we caught them again not too long after the next fight, right? So they just believe that maybe that there's some patterns that they're looking at. And, obviously we all know that, in boxing is not the, what can I say? It's not the cleanest sport in the world. And there's a lot of things that go on that, when we sit up and we look at why fights aren't getting made or why certain people get decisions and why certain people are allowed to cheat blatantly and other people are not, why they're so interested in certain people becoming champions and other people are not. That, when you're looking at people like, again, Daniel Kinahan, you're looking at the Saudi, they're obviously they're bragging about doing business with Saudi Arabia, and when they're obviously involved in gigantic arms deals, right? So it's just, to me, what it looks like, what I hope this is just, because I saw Tyson Fury when Tyson Fury said that thing about, Daniel Kinahan, and I see how he kind of moves and the tough talk that he does and all of that stuff. And I usually just kind of sit back and, you chalk that up to just, I'm an older guy, man. And Tyson Fury in a lot of ways is a kid, but, hopefully what this is about is not, it's not what everybody's chalking it up to be or what people are chalking it up to be. But I will say this though, that, the federal government has a very, very high conviction rate. Something like 99% of the people that get charged in federal convictions are get charged and the feds are convicted. I know that it's because I think all but a quarter settle, right? And then of the quarter that settles, like 95% settle, and then of the 5% that don't settle, like 25% of them get convicted. It's a really it's a tough thing, man. But at the same time, I don't think that it's necessarily something bad, man, because it was very clear from the time that, Eddie Hearn came over to the United States, Tyson Fury came over to the United States. They were really talking about, the takeover of American boxing and, all that stuff. You had people that were just openly assuming that DAZN and what was going on with DAZN was just straight money laundering, right? So it's going to be interesting, man, to see, because I've got friends that are federal investigators and, they will say things and just be like, we're looking at that, we're looking at this. But, over the amount of time of dealing with them when they're, really talking about something serious. And I wouldn't say that, that whenever this stuff comes down, is going to be something that's going to happen in the next couple months or whatever. But, definitely keep your eyes out, because, you can go back and you can look at things like that fighter Kerstides. That was something that was alerted people, right? Back maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was this fight called like the White Tyson or Lil Tyson. Kerstides wound up being an enforcer for, some really tough guys out of Russia. You just, you see a lot of that stuff mixing in with boxing, and it can be kind of tough, man, but we'll see how it pans out, man. I just think more than likely, Tyson Fury probably not going to be affected. They're just going to ask him to cooperate, ask him to take whatever names and whatever people that he may have the information on, because I doubt very much that he himself, is that boss. But, man, hey, man, you never know. It is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.